Hi everyone, Miles here with another very special video because today I want to celebrate my 1000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel. And to give you something back, I created a sound pack that I released on Gumroad. You can find the link to download it down in the description. The pack is for free, or as pay what you want. You can, if you can afford it, throw a couple of bucks my way. I would be super happy for your support. But if you can't afford it, it's totally fine if you grab the sound pack for free. And in this video, I just want to show you how all the sounds in the sound pack sound. They are all in all 40 sounds in it. And yeah, just to give you a brief overview of what the sound pack is and if it suits your style of sound or if it doesn't. Just very quickly before we start, let's have a look into the global effect settings, because if you download the sound pack and use it on your Digitone and don't have the same effect settings, the sounds might sound a bit different. I tend to use nearly the same effects in all of my projects. So let's start with the chorus. Here I have a high pass filter on the chorus. I just give you the exact amounts that are dialed in here. I use a fair amount of delay and reverb on the chorus. The width is at a standard, as I said, a high pass filter. And yeah, that's it for the chorus. Let's have a look at the delay. The delay is an effect that I tend to switch quite a lot. I use the feedback quite dynamically in my jams to give the sound some movements, to make transitions and stuff like that. And also the reverb is used quite a lot as well. Looking at the standard settings, the reverb here now is at 36. The delay is at 54. And I also have the ping pong delay turned on with a width of, let's have a look. What is it? 3971. This one is at a dotted eighth. And then I have the high pass filter set to 50. Same goes for the reverb. The high pass filter is set to 50 as well. I use no pre-delay on these sounds. I have a decay time of 90. And then some filtering of the high end to just lower the gain there a little bit. Okay, let's have a look at the sound pack. I've already loaded up all the sounds in my sound bank H. And the first one is called Plug Wein, which is the German word for wine, the drink. Sounds also great if you use it with two notes. Yeah. The second one is called bass fat short, and it sounds like this. And the next one is quite similar to that. It's called bass fatty short. Just really nice to have some short bass sounds to, yeah, really use them. If you have like a techno track, for example, and want to have like a really staccato bass going, then you can definitely use one of these two sounds. Next up we have a snare. The snare is called Snare Dark and sounds like this. You can also use it on higher pitches. And for percussive sounds, I already, or I usually save up a sound called, the same sound called ARP, where I have an arpeggiator on it, just to use it in the sequencer as a repeating sounds. And then it sounds like this. Just to have some snare rolls or some hi-hats. It's really effective on hi-hats as well, just to save yourself some space in the sequencer that you can then use for other sounds. Okay, the next one is called Lydiamorph, and it's an ARP, and it sounds like this. If you are familiar with my techno jams, you may recognize this one from my first techno jam that I put out here on YouTube. Then I have two variations of this ARP, and the first one sounds like this. And the third one sounds like this. Also great if you load this up and then you can go, while playing it in the ARP, go through different octaves. That's yeah, that's much fun. Yeah, it's really nice. You can do very many different funny things with that. The next three sounds are kick drums. Those are just my regular kick drums that I used in some of my first techno jams, and they sound like this. Oh, the pitch is wrong. Sorry. Here we go. This is the first. This is the second. And this is the third. By the way, if you use these kick drums to make them really cut through your mix, I sometimes go to the unison menu and just give them a unison of two voices, which makes them a bit richer, like you can hear right now. And on the other ones as well. Pretty effective way to make your kick drums cut a little bit more through your mix. Then we have again a snare drum, which is called snare metallic, and it sounds like this. I really like this metallic sound, and I've used this one in my third techno jam here on YouTube, and yeah, I really like how it, although it doesn't sound too fat, it really nicely cuts through the mix. Then we have the same sound with an arpeggiator on it. Next up, we have one of my favorite sounds here on the Digitone, which is this bass lead sound, and it sounds like this. This was one of the first sounds I made on the Digitone, and I really like this lead sound. Reminds me a bit of Stefan Butzin's Sub 37 bass lead sound that he uses in some of his tracks. That's why it's called Butzin Bass Lead. And I've also got a tutorial here on the channel where I show you how I make this sound, which is linked somewhere up here. By the way, on this sound you might have recognized that I have used it in poly, so that two notes can overlap, although it's a mono sound. I've done that because if you do it in mono, you can sometimes hear slightly, if the notes overlap, a little bit of clicking on the sounds. So to overgo this, I just set it to poly, and then I try to lift my fingers up the right moment when I changed the notes. Okay, let's go to the next sound, which is this ARP LFO, and this is actually one of my favorite sounds. Möwen is, by the way, Möwe, the German word for seagull, and it sounds like this. I really like the LFO in the end when the sound fades out and the pitch wobbliness comes in. Also sounds great, one octave lower. Then we have two other ARPs. a huge arpeggiator fan, like you've maybe recognized by now. This one's called Murmur, and this is the high version of it. I've used this sound, by the way, maybe you'll recognize it in 2 of my last jams. I think it was the 4th and the 5th techno jam here on YouTube, and I've also got a lower version on this sound, which sounds like this. Here again, it's nice to switch through the octaves while playing the sound. Next up we have 2 lead sounds, again a high and a low version. The high version sounds like this. And then we have the low version, which sounds like this. Almost has some pad character to it, but I really like the sound and I've used it in my jams as well. Then we have a couple of hi-hats coming up. This one is my open hi-hat, which sounds like this. And this one is my closed hi-hat. And here again I have the hi-hat with the ARP on it to have an ongoing hi-hat sound. By the way, I just used these as a basis to load them up, and then I changed them in the tracks. So for example, you can really change the character by changing the filter, changing the sound, and of course changing the amp decay time to make it here really open or more closed. Then next up we have some kicks. These are some newer kicks I made, 3 of them, and they sound like this. This is the first one. This is a bit of a noisier one, and this is nearly similar to the other kick, but it has a bit more low end to it than the kick drum before. Then I also have some other hi-hats. Again, these ones are hi-hats with an LFO on them, and they sound like this. You can see here in the LFO that it's on the decay time set to random, and this way you can really get different sounds each time you hit it, and this way bring more movement to your hi-hat. And this goes for the arpeggiator one as well. Yeah, you can really hear it in this one. Okay, next up we have a pad, and this one sounds like this. It's also great for chords. Yeah, I really like that pad. It's evolving all the time, and it gives the track like a really soft and subtle character. Then we have another step sound, which sounds like this. Also, I like to use this one with 2 notes, for example, like this. And then next up we have 3 different plugs, which sounds like this. This is the first one. Then this is the second one. And this is the third one. What I really like about this third one is that you don't always get the note that you are playing. Because the LFO, here the first one, is set to ratio all and has a random waveform. So the ratio is always changing and you get some notes that you are not really playing here, but this gives you access to some random, really cool new melodies that you can use in your tracks. Then we have 2 other arpeggiators, which are called Düster, which is a German word for dark, and I really like them because they sound like really dark, like this. I really like the character, and this one is the second one. Sounds a bit different and the ARP settings are a bit different. Yeah, really like these sounds. Next up, there's another clap, which is called Clap Afar, and it also has an ARP on it and sounds like this. I really like to use this sound to give some drum and percussion tracks a little bit more of movement and to create some tension, and have this one playing in the back, so I tend to use it with a quite low volume. So when I use it in the tracks, I really turn down the volume, and yeah, just to have it as a little bit of a distant sound in the background. Next up we have 2 lead sound. The first one sounds like this. And the second one sounds like this. I really like these sounds. They also sound great if you just pump them an octave up. They just cut through the mix a little bit more. Then the last 3 sounds. This one is another plug sound, which sounds like this. Yeah, that's the right octave for it. This one was a bit too high, but this one is the right one. And then as the last 2 sounds, I have another bass sound. This sound I used in my 5th techno jam, and it sounds like this. You can really hear the filter opening up and with the LFO over time. You can, by the way, also change this if the filter is opening up too fast. Let's see, which one is it? This one here, you can just lower the fade in here. And this way reduce the amount of the wobbleness of the filter. And finally, the last sound is called Eating Voices, and the reason behind that is because this sound is quite voice consuming. I use this one in an Ableton project, not in my synth jams, because this steals so many voices, but if you just record the Digitone directly into a DAW, for example, this sound is fantastic to use. I really like that sound. As I said, it's great, but when you go to the voice menu here, you can see not right now, but when I got it playing in a track, I really got some voicing issues here on the Digitone quite soon. But maybe you find your way around it and can use it in your Digitone tracks as well. And yeah, that's it. That's all the 40 sounds in this sound pack that I created. And as I said in the beginning, you can just download the sound pack via Gumroad. The link is down in the description. It's free, or pay what you want. If you want to support my work and support my channel, I'd be happy if you just can afford $1 or $2 or whatever you want to pay for it. But if you can't afford it right now, it's totally fine, and you can just grab it for free. And at this point, I wanted to say again a huge thanks to all of you for the support, for the comments, for the community. I really appreciate that, and I love to get in touch with all the synth nerds out there and just to have a chat about music, technology and all of that. I really appreciate that. So thank you guys a lot, and have a happy ending of the year. Happy ending is quite strange. Well, forget about that. Have a happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas, and start well into 2021, and I'll see you soon. Till then, stay safe. Bye.